This content is brought to you by BEC Financial Technologies, developing and operating IT for Danish banks.
Hello. Today I would like to talk about synthetic personas in the era of research and AI, obviously. So I would like to share you talk a little bit about my experience and XTB team researchers' experience about how we can now conduct research using synthetic personas or maybe segments methods, and also give you a quite maybe a little overview how we can all benefit from this technology, maybe methodology in product development, how we can faster our research, or maybe sometimes also gathering the data. But before that, I have a question to you. What does the world of product teams look like in the face of AI and user research right now? Because I have some thoughts about that. Is it a trend or necessity right now? Because we constantly hear that AI is entering every stage of product development, obviously. Product, design, research. The new tools are emerging every month. And now, since the GPT models and AI models are available, we can also talk to the models and get some data insights. And that of course, bring some concerns. Will I get generic model responses, or maybe some hallucinations, or maybe will I discover things I already know? Because AI has lacks of real context, obviously, and there is a huge risk of bias and averaging. What's more, that brings pressure to us, to the teams, to the product teams, to the UX design teams, because we need to deliver products faster, cheaper. The stakeholders insist to implement data in every stage of the product development process. Sometimes we have a small team, so we don't have time, obviously, for conducting the research with users and get the proper data, of course. Recruitment also is expensive, and stakeholders want a quick answer sometimes here and now. So this is a lot of pressure, right? Okay, so I ask myself, is there a reality where we can receive high quality data about our user needs, motivations, behavior, experience, or any other barriers faster and without engaging the respondents, right? So I ask myself, do I have to run usability tests with users, or maybe I can ask GPT models and get the same data? We can make it simpler. Can artificial clones of people replace research with real individuals, like in this movie that we all, I think, know? Yeah. Well, so I decided to check it out for you, and with my team also tell you what works on or what does not. But before we talk about the definition of synthetic personas, because I think the definition is something that needs to be in every presentation. Does anyone know this gentleman? Does any one of you? No? Oh, where? Yeah. Yes, point for you. Bravo. Yes, this is Alan Cooper. He's the persona propagator in the user-centered design process. So basically, this is the guy that invented personas and propagate this in our product teams in early 90s. And he also wrote this book about Phase 2.0. This is a very unique position. So if you want to buy it before Christmas, I highly recommend. If you don't know this, there's also another book from Alan's. The inmates are running the asylum. Still one left on Amazon. So a good idea for Christmas present. But this is a funny thing, because if we translate the title of this book into Polish, it would be Wariaci rządzą domem wariatów, which is really wicked ones for Polish people, and that might be only amusing for people from Poland right now, because yeah, we have some kind of problems in case of translation of the books, popular books, films, movies, or popular songs. Yeah, and by the way, do you know how the movie of Terminator was translated into Polish? Point for you. Yeah, it was elektroniczny morderca, which can be translated into electronic murderer. Yeah, don't ask. Okay, but let's get to the synthetic personas and some historical point of view. So we have Alan Cooper, and he introduces the idea of personas in the 90s. Then we have Bezos and 2010 decade, development of data analysis, big data analysis, and now we can use large amounts of user data and bring it through the big data technology and create personas more detailed based on real data driven by users. The next decade, 2010-2020, artificial intelligence begins to analyze user behavior, user data, machine learning. Of course, algorithms also enable us to create patterns, so we can use it in recommendations engines for our users. And finally, nowadays, the development of AI, of course, OpenAI delivered the GPT language model in 2020, and since then we have the ability to talk with data. So I want to emphasize that synthetic personas are not new, not something very new. The development of AI and availability of language models have helped us to anthropomorphize them. Sorry, this is a hard one. So basically, that's what's happening right now. We can try to talk with our models, or maybe our segments, I would say, synthetic segments. So the definition, okay? Synthetic personas are fictional characters created based on real or synthetic data, and that's the very important factor, first factor. Second one, it needs to represent different types of users or customer segments. So real or synthetic data, and then, of course, represents our customers. Okay, so what I did in my research and with my team, and how did we start? Okay, we took a box, right? Simple one. And we used the box method. Do you know what is a box method? It's just a box method. So you take the box, you open the box, and you put data into a box, a lot of different kind of data. So we put the data like quantitative, qualitative analysis into the box. We also get the industry reports from the market about our, let's say, segment of users in finance. And of course, we created our XTB segmentation, also put it in our box. And that's very important because our XTB segmentation is something that we are very proud of right now. We have really good segmentation because we are XTB, so we know how to count, obviously. So we have different type of cluster segments, and we cluster them through the transaction models and also behavioral models. So combining those two, let's say, models helped us to create very unique segments of our representative of our users, and to, of course, reflect the real situations about our users in the app. So once we have the data and we have it in our box, then we, let's say, put it to the language model. In that case, it was ChatGPT 4.0 Omni version, and with its own knowledge and our input and our data, and combining those two things, it gave us a great, let's say, perspective on future synthetic segments. We did some fine prompting. I requested to analyze the data that we put to the box. Of course, provide the context of the research and what we want to achieve. and explained what we'll be doing and what I expect from the synthetic personas from the model. Yes, these are the personas. But I would rather use segments, this definition. Okay, what next? I decided that we will ask same questions to real users and conduct the same interview with real users and do it the same with the synthetic personas. So same questions and same let's say scope of research with real people. Then we compare the responses between synthetic and real people and gather some insights and recommendations and maybe some good practices that we can follow. So let's get to the first example, what we achieved or what we discovered. Okay, so let's take the investment motivations. We asked synthetic personas and real users about the general investment motivations. What are the general investment motivations of those two groups? And as you can see, synthetic personas or segments, they were like, I became interested in investing because see it as an opportunity to grow my capital and achieve my financial goals, blah, 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 right? Very general. But people, real human, they were pretty much more detailed and specific, even if we asked them a very general first question. So they gave us like examples. There was a lot of buzz about GameStop scandal at that time, and a friend was getting into it, which was a motivation that maybe it is worth it. So on this general level, when we ask a general question to the synthetic personas and the same to the users, we get the responses that the model was very general in their response, and people were detailed from the first question. And when we compare the level of consistency between those two groups, we were able to achieve somewhere between 60 to up to 78% of consistency, right? So I don't know, what do you think? Is it okay? Is it much? Is it low? Okay, yep, yeah. We just combine them together. Like we read what we get from the synthetic personas and compare them like with the real human responses and answers. We have a list of responses, synthetic and real users, and we combine them, and then we count the percentage of the consistency. Okay, but can the results change when we ask for more details? What do you think? They should, yeah, they should, definitely. So moving on, we also test the experience with chatbots. This is our virtual assistant in the app. Yeah, you can ask our assistant about, let's say, anything regarding the transactions or some issues, and so on, etc. So, as a research team, we're kind of we wanted to check what do people think about, what are their experience about the chatbot itself, right? So we asked same questions to synthetic personas and same to real people, but we were much more detailed. So we asked them a lot of different type of questions, right? What are the expectations? How they want to interact with chatbots? What are the specific usage and cases when they would like to enter to our chatbot, right? So a lot of very specific, detailed questions that we asked personas, synthetic personas, and real users. And as you can see, the level of consistency raised. So through active probing, we achieved a higher consistency score in response, right? we had the same problem with education, or maybe an issue with education. So we wonder if we should put education context or content into the chatbot, and how it should be presented also in the chatbot to the users, at what level of depth, right? And as you can see, this is in Polish, but I can tell you that both synthetic personas and real users were consistent that they want educational aspect content in the chatbot, right? So what's very important about that is both of the groups, both of the participants, let's say, want a comprehensive education materials, right, and interactive guidelines that would be available directly through the screen. And as a UX team, of course, and obviously, we are experienced guys, so we know that educational content should be in the chatbot, but that gave us information that okay, the synthetic personas also agreed that we should put it there. But we wanted more. We asked what topics should be put in the education, right? So again, we want to be more specific in our question. So debuting enthusiasts, they said, I expect the chat to be intuitive and easy to use with the ability to get the clear answers. Some general need. And people were also at this level very general, but in their opinions. But when we get to the details, so we deepen the questions, both synthetic personas and users and real users were kind of similar. They want basic investment concepts in our app, how the market works, investment strategies, risk management, right? What is ETFs, some basic investment concept, etc. So synthetic personas and real customers, they were pretty much the same in their opinion and needs regarding the education aspect in our chat. Okay, so that's what I want to tell is that we can get from 60 to 70% average consistency with general questions without any follow-up. We can raise it up to almost 9100 even percent after asking detailed questions, like a real human researchers. So the more we are specific and the more detailed we are during those interviews with synthetic personas, the better insights or responses we get, and they are pretty much similar like users. Any tips? Okay, so if you ever have a chance to talk with synthetic segments, maybe you will develop them by yourself. Try to act or talk to them with like a human, right? So probe, deepen, be curious about their perspective, but also be very critical. Okay, so we already know that with questions about motivations, barriers, experience, or needs, the models perform pretty well, right? But what if we ask about the specific context of using the XTB application, right? So that's something new, let's say. Let's get to the example, the second example. So the context of using the XTB application. On this screen, you can see both screens from our application. This is like a home view, let's say, and portfolio. So this is like a main screen and markets, and that user sees when he enters to the app. And we want to know and get answers from synthetic personas and also real users. How do people compare data between different categories and how do they manage this information, right? And both of them, both synthetic personas and people, indicated the need to mark their active positions on the list of all instruments in markets, right? So, and we deepen this information and ask extra questions. How do you think this could work? So we ask about the solution, synthetic persona about the solution. So we get the answer, but we get also the example from the synthetic persona. as you can see, active positions could be highlighted on the list in the bright colors, such as green for profitable positions and red for losing positions. Additionally, next to each active position, there could be an icon indicating its status. So the synthetic persona invented or suggested a solution for us. And guess what? We implemented it later time and confirmed this with real users. So the synthetic persona gave us a solution. We tested out with users, and we confirmed that it's okay. That's what the real users want. This may indicate that the synthetic persona was right because real users later confirmed this need. You want more? Okay. So we also wanted to test if the synthetic segments understand the visual context, right? Because we operate on mockups, on designs, and so on. So this is a mobile version of our web. We ask, what do you think about the page you see, like general? And we get the information from the synthetic persona. Synthetic personas recognize the web-specific elements, main interface elements, header and navigation, main promotional sections, CTAs elements, and so on. Understand the sections and CTAs, which is not that, which in the first, let's say, thought it might be not that easy, right? We ask also, what is your first impression? What would you do to start? So we imagine that we can ask synthetic personas, how would you start the interaction with our web? And same, personas evaluate the level and quality of design and message. So we get some initial observations, and they are pretty good. And we also have evaluation of the solution from the perspective of their needs, of the segment, right? So as you can see, as a new potential investor, I would click the green download app button if I wanted to start on mobile. For immediate account creation, I would like to click the button that says this guy or set key. Right? So this is not a button, right? This is just information. And this is kind of, I would say, tricky because it might be a button, right? It might be a call to action. Okay. Do you know who is presented on the web? Yeah, and we also would like to understand if the model understands who is our brand hero. Yeah, and obviously, yep, synthetic personas knows Latin, and this is just this is not a mock-up. This is just a print screen, right? So yeah, he can identify Zlatan and the context that he's holding a phone, etc. Yep, but obviously, who cannot know this guy when this guy was doing such things, right? Bicycle kick with England in 2012. Okay, that shows that we can provide synthetic personas with photos, prototypes, mockups, or ready solutions for analysis to ensure the responses are given in context. I think that's pretty impressive because combining those word data and visual aspect and context, that can give us a pretty cool output. Okay, do you think, do you think there was a situation when AI said something more interesting than people? Yeah. Point for you. So we asked both groups about placement of the chatbot. So where we should place our chatbot in the app. Basically, synthetic personas, they were like, I often analyze a large amount of data and charts, blah, blah, blah. I prefer that the chat icon does not obscure any important data, right? So, but people were like more general in their opinions. They don't care. So when you go deeper, the synthetic personas indicate the need to differentiate the location of the chatbot depending on the screen segment. So, for example, on the market screen, they don't want to see the chatbot icon, right? So they were able to choose the location and customize it through their needs. And people, they don't care. Right? basically. And in that case, consistency of response was 87%. But the lack of higher consistency resulted from a situation where the synthesis said something more interesting than people. So, it's another way, right? So people were not so specific and detailed about their needs, and AI was. And we can agree with that from the, let's say, UX design perspective. Something more interesting than people, yeah? So this shows that synthetic segments can also understand the context of use and can change it depending on their set of usage needs. And sometimes it gives more open-minded responses. So sometimes it opened our minds from the UX researcher's perspective or design or product designer's perspective. Okay, guys, so let's sum up. Here are some statements. Can we compare those, synthetic and people? They can be vague, but they can be specific when we probe them. I think double yes. Both people and synthetic personas can do it. Responses are consistent of similar in most cases. I think yes. They reveal unexpected views or opinions. Sometimes both segments, synthetic segments and obviously people do it. But based on them, can we try to make simple design decisions or capture the general picture of reality? I think yes. Let's move on. They have emotions and apply deep nuances. This is the first no. I think it's not good idea to talk with synthetic persons about the emotions and some very deep nuances. With people, we can do that. Time to conduct the study. Point for synthetic personas. Obviously, it's faster than conducting the traditional UX research. And also regarding the cost of the study, the cost of the study with synthetic personas, it's lower than with real people. But can we try to make key business and product decisions based on the synthetic personas? I think no, but based on users' perspective and their behavior, yeah. So when is it worth talking to synthetics? So I would say if you need a quick verification of your general needs, motivations, experience of your users, your segments, or any other barriers, I think this is a good start. For ideation, the phase of generating ideas, some discovery phase, maybe when you're building concepts and you try to validate them, or any kind of research of hypotheses. When you have many customer segments, sometimes very narrow or specific, and you can't reach them, and obviously want to ask more about their perspective, that might be a good option to use synthetic personas. And when there's really no money and time, right? Because I believe that it's better to do something than nothing regarding the user research. When is it not worth talking to synthetics? Definitely when your product is about research on emotions or deep nuances, some kind of tone of voice, body language, reactions to your product, it's not obviously a good option. When you try to understand deep context of product usage, like full usability test, some cultural and social aspects, or maybe ethnographic. So if you want to see their real usage and in real environment, how do people interact with your product? And of course, if you're building a startup or a venture, and you have innovative products that no one is using, it also might be not a good idea to use synthetic personas. Best practices based on our knowledge and experience. Probe, deepen, be curious about the synthetic personas. Ask why. You can talk as much as you want, right? Because with synthetic personas, there is like no limit. With people, you have, 30, 60, maybe 90 minutes, because after that, we all die. Work broadly across all your segments, but ask individually. That's also very important. So if you have 5 segments, do not try to ask about the answers at one time. Ask them individually. ensure the best possible input data for your synthetic segments. That's also kind of obvious thing, because there's this rule, trash in, trash out. So the better data you provide to the model, the better results you get. Okay, and finally, question the results and responses. Stay vigilant and maintain distance always. If you're not ready to build your own, let's say, synthetic segments, there are some tools on the market. For example, syntheticusers.com. They allow you to. This is a SaaS solution, actually. Basically, they allow you to create your own personas, and they also have kind of pool of predefined synthetic personas for your research. A lot of drafts to start talking to your potential segments and so on. And you can also, of course, add your data and try to, let's say, edit those predefined, let's say, personas that they provide. Okay, so let's get back to the question from the very beginning of my presentation. So does your interlocutor have to be a human? Well, I think no. But from the product development perspective now, it will be crucial to decide, for you to decide, or for your managers or for your organization, when we should talk to AI and when we should talk to a real human. Because synthetic segments, it's not like a cure for everything. They are another tool given for us, for product designers, for UX designers and researchers, for the whole organization sometimes. And the best possible and future-oriented strategy will be, of course, hybrid model. So let's go hybrid. And the rule is simple. It's pretty simple. If you have simple problem or decisions to be made, you can use synthetic personas and, of course, mix or combine them with real human data and real human research. But if you have to have complex problems, decisions to be made, I would rather go to start with user research, and then let's say scale the insights from the real users to and try to kind of see what we can learn extra talking to our synthetic personas after we know the real insights. And one more thing, I think this is important one. Please remember that regardless of technology advancement, the essence of our profession, I mean product development teams, lies in the curiosity of observing human behavior and solving their problems with our products, right? We are all here to observe what our customers do and how they act and react and solve their problems to deliver the best products. Many thanks. Thank you, guys, from this presentation. And of course, if you want to work with us, we also have QR codes.
So thank you very much, Marek. So if anybody has any questions, then please raise your hand. Go ahead.
Hi, I would like to spend my point on at least one question, which is, have you seen negative responses from these synthetic personas? In the examples that you've shown, it was always affirmative. Hey, your UI is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is good. This is good.
Yeah, sometimes we do. We do get bad answers, I would say, or maybe they were not the same or similar to users, but that's the part.
The question is not about the difference to the users, but when the user gave negative response and said, hey, this part of UI, I don't understand it. I don't know what to do with it. Did the AI provide similar answer, or there were situations where AI said, hey, this part of UI, as this person, I would not understand it?
After we asked them with more detailed questions, the AI was like, it sees the bad or negative aspects, let's say, like real users did.
And the last follow-up question to them. How deep was the response of the AI? How detailed and informative was the response of the AI in the negative case compared to the user?
I would say similar after we asked the detailed questions, and then the deeper we go, the AI was like pretty much very similar to the level of the response of the user in that negative aspect also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, hello everyone. My first attendance at product at Warsaw. Great to meet you all. I'm Neeraj. I moved to Warsaw in February, and I've been here for some time. We moved from Singapore, and I was in Dubai before that. That's all to say that I have some experience in product for over 10 years. So, yeah. And thank you to the organizers for doing this in English. I know that's like 5 people who don't understand Polish, but we appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, now I come to my question. First of all, brilliant presentation. And just tell me something. The internet, generally speaking, and reports and chatbots specifically, they probably have a bit of a liberal bias. The internet is generally more liberal than people, right? You'd say so. Do you agree?
Yeah, somehow. Yeah.
Platforms like Reddit, for example, Reddit is a lot more liberal than people.
There is a little bias,
right? Yeah. So how does that play into synthetic personas? For example, the chatbot you're using might tell you something that should be the answer, whereas a conservative population might tell you something different. A simple example, like a very stupid example which comes to mind, is a conservative population might think of 13 as unlucky and ask you to make it prominent.
Some kind of statistical responses, right?
Okay, so would you
get
synthetic personas also reflect these sentiments, conservative sentiments?
Yes, but
okay,
when we compared it to the real users, right, and their statistics, let's say, it was similar. So it's not like this is like a method and a cure, like I said, but this can give you some, let's say, first answers to your ideas, to your concepts, to your questions that you have regarding your product, and maybe some needs of your users or behavior, motivations of your users. So it's like a cool partner. The synthetic person is a cool partner to, let's say, talk, and then of course try to somehow conduct and get the real data with your users, right?
Okay, so you typically follow this up with a focus group study or something like that?
Yes.
Would you? Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lucas, and I'm a designer. I wanted to ask you, we know as designers, when we conduct qualitative research with the real users, they lie.
Yeah.
Like Dr. House said, everyone lies. Yeah. They want to aspire. They don't want to feel incompetent. So, in the research methodology, this needs to be compensated somehow. The other side is statistical algorithms known as AI. They also lie, but in completely different way, and it also has to be somehow taken into account. Do you consider it a problem at this stage of using the automated tools? If yes, have you tried to work around to find a workaround? If not, do you think it might be a problem when the research will be operating not on dozens but on millions of artificial personas? Is it something that will be a challenge in the future?
A challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a challenge, but please remember that in this whole process of talking to your synthetic personas, afterwards there is a real human UX researcher and a very competitive and, I would say, experienced team. So this is like I said, this is like a tool that gives you like a glimpse and open your mind. Okay, so maybe this is something that we can follow, but we need to stay like focused and also try to be consistent with ourselves, right, and what we feel and what our guts say. Actually.
So who would you trust more, lying person or lying algorithm?
Tomato. Oh.
Okay, thank you.
2 more questions. Okay.
Yeah, it's always better to see the real user, right? Because we are humans, actually. Oh yeah, maybe one day, right?
Hey, thank you for your presentation. Quick question, because I come from the company who just laid off the half of the UX team, and most of this half of the team was UX researchers. Like the whole UX research department was just laid off. And my question is, like, how threatened you may actually feel right now because of this presentation, and basically, like, frankly speaking, how do you envision the UX research role into the whole product pipeline and development life cycle, if such a tool can actually today replace such a huge amount of work on the UX researchers part of the pipeline?
Well, yeah, definitely. I have to admit that there might be some reductions on the market, but this is I still believe this is a tool, right? And behind this, there must be an expert and a user, let's say a researcher, maybe an expert who evaluates the results and also give this very unique sense of humanity and business perspective of the organization that you work for, right? But plus, I also think that we are heading to the some kind of automation of processes regarding US research, but the next level for UX researchers and us, let's say UX designers, would be to understand this, let's say, a specific interaction between a human and an AI, and this relation, and from the point of view how we operate with the AI, and also how we want that AI to be operated, let's say. Plus, I would also say that ethnography, I think this is the next level and the next game changer for UX researchers. I believe that researchers will go down and go deeper to see and observe the real behavior of the users, not the digital ones, or let's say through the classic traditional methods by conducting unmoderated sessions or testing. But ethnography will be something that will have a crucial part for us as a designers and as a researchers. So observing the real human in the real context of usage of a product, like we all sit here, that would be something very cool. And I think researchers should understand that they should follow this, let's say, path of development of themselves.
I have a question, a bit follow up on this one. How you feel and what do you think about the AI approach today, that you have the tools that make the heat map, analyze the user path, analyze the synergy, looking the different kind of the component, basically, and make it thinking like a human and optimize all of the design based on the data that they provided. And what do you think about that, where people that take this role as UX in this kind of environment, where basically we have machine that take all of the data that normal human takes, analyze, and show you the best result that is conducted by the data. So what do you think about this kind of UX role? What will happen with them, and how do you think it will be approached soon?
I think UX designers will be about discover and designing the emotions of the product. I mean, like you said, automation, it's we can get all the data from one place and get like a solution from AI that we should all follow. But technically, this is a statistics, right? And this is not something unique. It might be, but it won't be without the emotional aspect of the product. And designers should focus, from my perspective, on creating emotions and those aha moments with the product. Because we had like a lot of tools before AI, let's say e-commerce, right? these are the same shops, the same layouts, the same mockups from years, right? But the best solutions, the best e-commerce sites delivers the emotion for the product, or delivers the experience, like a small touch of experience that users are following and becoming clients. So I think the role of UX designers will be not just to create designs and mockups, but to think about the whole experience and the emotions behind the product. And with that, combining this with the research and ethnography, I think that might create a niche or maybe advantages for the brands.
Okay, thank you for all your questions, but we need to keep our agenda. We took like 5-minute break, and after that,
Thank you,
we
guys.
go to another presentation.